Good morning, and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, coming to you from the studios of Troy Cablevision on Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. You're watching us live on Facebook across the world, and we're excited about being here with you. And of course, it looks like a little overcast morning, but we'll get better and better as the day goes in. Talking about 70-degree temperatures. We got a call coming in already. Good morning. Where are you calling from?
Birmingham.
Birmingham, Alabama. What kind of weather you got up there?
It's overcast and about 40 degrees.
40 degrees. Of course, it's a beautiful day to be alive in downtown Birmingham. What's going on in the news?
Well, I mean, Troy Athletics had an interesting weekend. Of course, didn't start very well on Friday night for the basketball team. On national television, we're down by as many as 30, and I think finally got beat by 25 by Georgia Southern, who has dominated Troy basketball over the last 3 years. And of course, they played in front of a huge crowd over in Statesboro, Georgia. And Bernardo is still out due to concussion symptoms, which is one of the more crazier situations I've ever seen. I mean, you see guys get concussions all the time in football and are back playing the next week, but Bernardo has now missed 4 games. And, of course, Troy has lost all those games except one. They did win one at home, but I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they don't play again until Saturday against South Alabama. And if he doesn't play then, I would expect maybe he's out for the rest of the season. I don't know what's going on.
It doesn't look good for Troy. It really doesn't. And I
mean, Troy's now 4-9 in conference. This is the team that, we talked about earlier in the season that beat Western Kentucky at Western Kentucky, beat UAB for the first time ever at UAB, lost a really close game to St. Louis, who's winning their league. I mean, very talented Troy team, and really, really underachieving, to say the least.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, high school basketball still in full swing. You know, the thing about Troy that I hate is for this coaching staff. Boy, I like this coaching staff, and the great chemistry on this coaching staff, and it doesn't look very good.
I'm sure they're absolutely shocked. I mean, they were 10-7 a few weeks ago, and now they're 11-14, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. And
so, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's not the coaches. I mean, sometimes these players have got to step up. They've got a lot of guys that they were really counting on this year to fill in for Wesley Person, and unfortunately, it's just been way too inconsistent from the guys they were really counting on. And I mean, I don't know how you turn it around after the way it's going now. It would be unbelievable if they could, but it doesn't look very good.
Yeah. Of course, Troy's softball did well this weekend. Goes to 4-1 in a weekend down in Orlando.
They just can't beat SEC teams, unfortunately.
Well, they beat St. Joseph 7-4, and then they ended with his only loss was to Missouri in the weekend. But they're playing pretty well right now. Alabama's softball team won big this weekend, as did Auburn. Auburn's softball won this weekend. Auburn's baseball edged Georgia Southern in 13 innings for a big win. Central Michigan beat Troy 5-2.
Yeah, hats off to the Chippewas.
They're
you
pretty
told
good.
Me a team that had been practicing indoors. I mean, had unbelievable weather conditions. 40 below zero, would have come into to Troy, Alabama, a team that went to the regionals last year, and go 2-2. I would have never bet money on that, to say the least. I'm almost shocked they went 2-2 against Troy.
Well, I'll tell you this: the team I saw from Central Michigan was good, Mike. I'm talking about good. They had great pitching, and Troy had trouble with them in every game. And of course, Troy got 14 hits in Game 3. But
Troy's been practicing, year round. I mean, it's just crazy that that a team like this, you know that they don't have any access outside for months.
Yeah. Well, they're working out indoors, evidently. Troy's next game should be fun. They hit the road and travel to Southern Miss at Trustmark Park in Pearl, Mississippi, Mike, where they're going to play that game.
Yeah, that's where the Braves minor league AA team plays.
That's
Pearl,
a
Mississippi.
6:30 game. What? How far is that to Pearl, Mississippi?
I mean, Pearl's like on the way to Jackson, I believe.
Yeah.
Back to softball real quick. Troy's 7-3 on the season. They've lost to Alabama twice, and they've lost to Missouri. So they're 0-3 against the SEC, and they're 7-0 against everybody else.
Well, that's good. That's good.
In that tournament, they beat Stetson 14-0. They beat UMass 5-1. They beat LIU Brooklyn 9-1 and St. Joseph 7-4. The only team they lost to was Missouri. They got beat 6-0.
Yeah, well, that's still a pretty good weekend for the Lady Trojan softball team. Gosh,
I mean,
Mike,
the baseball game on Friday night, Troy won. They split the doubleheader on Saturday, and then they lost on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And let me tell you what happened on Saturday night, Saturday, the second half of the game. I want you to hear this. You would have had a fit. You would have had a fit.
I read about it.
And a lot of folks out there would have had a fit. Troy had two men on, and I think it was 2 outs, and 3-2 count on the batter, and they threw a pitch, and it hit our guy in the back. I mean, hit him solid now. And so everybody's clapping. He's going to first base. We're fixing to load the bases up, and we're fixing to come back and beat this team. Well, the umpire calls him out. And there's a new rule, Mike, that says
I know, I read that.
If you don't try to get out of the way of the pitch, they're going to call it a strike. If you don't try to get out of the way of a pitch, they're going to call it a strike. And sure enough, it hits our guy in the back, and the umpire calls it a strike, and then we lose the game.
Wow, did Coach Smart go crazy?
Well, no, he was just laid back. He said that's the way it reads in the book. You know, if it's determined by the umpire,
what is that now? Like a pitcher
that the batter did not try to get away from the pitch, it's going to be a strike. And even if it's strike 3, it's going to be a strike.
So a guy with great control now with 2 strikes and knows that situation now can hit a guy if he wants to?
About right.
I mean, because Brian Meadows always told me that he could hit anybody anytime he wanted to. That's the kind of
Well, it's going to change baseball a little bit. I don't know why they did it. I'm sure there's a lot of situations where somebody might
was the guy like leaning in over the plate? Is that what caused it?
No, he wasn't. But now, as far as the umpire's way he looked at it, he didn't try to get away from it.
You know, when I was growing up, you know, if I knew a guy was going to throw soft and throw like curves and stuff, I'd stick my elbow out there and get hit.
It was called taking one for the home team. You're right. You can't do that anymore.
Now, when I was a little kid, and Nathaniel Giles was about 6'3", about 225 pounds, and I was about 5'9", about 130 pounds. Now, when Nathaniel Giles hit me, I didn't enjoy that very much.
Nathaniel Giles? Who in the world is a Nathaniel Giles? And if it is a guy out there named Nathaniel Giles, you're being heard of on Facebook.
Nathaniel Giles was a kid that grew up in the Alabama Baptist Children's Home that was a giant when we were little kids.
Nathaniel Giles, okay.
He did not have great control, to say the least. Left and right.
Oh boy!
And he threw really hard, but he didn't know where it was going.
Well, Nathaniel, wherever you are today, my good friend, you're on Facebook across the world.
Yeah, anybody out there will remember him.
Who in the world would let J.B. Holmes come back and beat you?
Yeah, that was a choking day for Justin Thomas. You're up by 4 after the first hole. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, you had to play 35 holes, and the conditions were horrible. I mean, it was 50 degrees, the wind was blowing 30 miles an hour, but I mean, all you can say is Justin Thomas.
J.B. Holmes hasn't come back to beat anybody in his life.
It's about to be his 10th win at 25 years old. I mean, you're talking about one of the young phenoms in golf, and when he got exposed yesterday, I mean, he could not putt to save his life.
He missed. He three-putted from 8.
Had several putts at the very end that could have won it or at least put him in a playoff.
He three-putted from 8 feet, and that right there is bad enough. Lack of concentration or something. But J.B. Holmes, of course, who's known for being able to hit the ball a mile. Like he said, J.B. said, well, I got a little help from Justin. I like to hear somebody.
J.B. Holmes, though, I will say though, I mean that guy made some putts yesterday.
Yeah.
My goodness, he made a par putt.
Well,
after Thomas had birdied the 16th, and he made an 11-footer, and in those conditions, 11-footer was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was missing putts.
Well, I think a lot of people were rooting for J.B. Holmes. Of course, he's been on the tour a long time and noted, and without a doubt, wouldn't you say he's the top 3 driver on the tour, isn't he?
Yeah, it's probably him and Bubba Watson and Dustin Johnson. He's famous for wearing a black glove. That's what he wears. He wears a black.
Wears a black glove. Well, let me just say this: Justin Thomas.
2 Kentucky guys going at it, and that had to tickle J.B. Holmes, of this phenom out of Alabama. Justin Thomas from Goshen, Kentucky. He ends up beating him.
Goshen, Kentucky. Are you serious? Justin Thomas is from Goshen, Kentucky.
Yeah, apparently it's outside of Louisville.
You're that's about like telling somebody you're from Andalusia, Louisiana.
Yeah, Goshen, Kentucky.
All right, who is the great one from Bogalusa, Louisiana, over the years? We're gonna do that. We're gonna play with that today. That's gonna be fun.
You talking about the Bogalusa rifleman?
The Bogalusa rifle. Open your ears, Ozark. Who's the Bogalusa rifle, Mike?
He works at the store in Ozark.
Downtown Bearfields. Bearfields downtown. Do you know who it is?
Terry something, isn't it?
Yep, the first wishbone quarterback at the University of Alabama. They called him the Bogalusa Rifle. His name was Terry Davis. And Terry, good morning to you, and you're on Facebook across the world. From Bogalusa, starting at quarterback, number 11, from Bogalusa, Louisiana, Terry Davis. Don't you like that name, Bogalusa?
Of course, the Bazooka from Paducah was the great.
Who was the Bazooka from Paducah? Who was that?
Corey Robinson.
Corey Robinson, the great one at Troy, was the Bazooka from Paducah, Kentucky. What did he do that was so impressive, Mike?
He went 29 for 31 against UAB one night.
I thought that was.
What was an NCAA record?
Was that him? He that did that, or was it?
No, that was Robinson that did that. That was his senior year.
Yeah. Well, something else he did out of high school. He came in here with a lot of credentials. What were they? Do you know what they were?
I mean, I think he broke the passing records in Kentucky.
Well, in the whole nation, how many touchdown passes did he throw his senior year?
I think he said in the 90s, didn't you?
90-something touchdown passes in one season. Of course, he was a great one, and but it's fun. We'll play with that today.
Here's your wrap up of Troy baseball games. If anybody's wanting to know the score, the first night they won 3-2. The second night they won 7-6.
And let me just say this:
the second day they lost 7-6, and then they lost the second game of the doubleheader 5-3, and then they lost the final game on Sunday 5-2.
They split with a good team from Central Michigan, no question about it.
Let's see if they're a good team. I'm betting they're not.
Are you really?
I am. I think that's not a good sign going 2-2 against Central Michigan.
All right. Well, all right. Of course, everybody seemed like they had a lot of fun at the ball game, and
I mean, you really think that's good to go against a MAC school to go 2-2? MAC's not known for baseball.
I know, but the MAC school's got 30,000 students, Mike. Michigan, they play baseball in Michigan, Mike. What makes you think they don't play baseball up there?
They can't even get out to practice outside.
I know, but they practice indoors. They practice in batting cages.
You want to see what the temperature is in Central Michigan
today?
Yes,
and I bet you right now, I'd say it's 50 degrees.
No, there's no way it's 50 degrees. I don't even know what the town is in Central Michigan.
Well, you got a little cousin that goes to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. She's your cousin from Eufaula, has a daughter going to the University of Michigan.
Let's see. Central Michigan is in Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant sounds like a nice place. Let's see, there's a Central Michigan, there's a Eastern Michigan, there's a Western Michigan, there's a Northern Michigan, and there's a Michigan and a Michigan State. Can you find anything on it? 14
degrees.
Oh, gosh.
So Troy just got beat by a team where it's this morning.
Oh, gosh.
Troy split with a team that plays in that kind of weather.
Shame on you, boys. Shame on you. You had a chance to take advantage of it. But, you know, they thought they were in paradise, Mike, with when it was 50 degrees here.
They do have a Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort there, though. So
do they really?
Population is 26,016, so it's bigger than Troy.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Of course, you all find that information only on Troy Cable today in L.A. and Slow, Alabama. We're proud of it. Of course, Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning. He's 2 hours north of here. It's great to play with these hometowns. Who is from Fordyce, Arkansas, Mike?
Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant. Who was from, let's see here.
He was from Excel.
Excel. His name was Leroy Jordan. And you know, everybody needs to know this. Leroy Jordan was an All-American linebacker at Alabama, award number 54. In high school, tell me who there were two great linebackers on Excel's team. And Leroy Jordan was one. Who is the other great linebacker on that Excel team?
Well, I mean, I've been told it was Larry Hancock.
Larry Hancock from Troy, Alabama, was the other linebacker at Excel. So when you see Larry today saying, "Man, I didn't know you played linebacker in high school," and he surely did. And something about Leroy, Mike. He was a very good player. He was married when he went off to college. Did you know that?
I didn't realize that. I didn't think Brian allowed married players.
Well, hey, he'll allow them if you're as good as Leroy Jordan. He'll allow one. No
really?
question. Yeah. You know what though? I'm looking at this game with Southern Miss. I would go to that game if it wasn't too far away.
Yeah, that's a long trip.
It'd be a great game, though, to go see him. Of course, Southern Miss had an outstanding program.
That's one thing about baseball. You'll have plenty of chances to watch them.
Mike, also give us a little bit of an idea of when spring practice starts at Troy and when the spring game comes up. And also give us an idea of who the first four teams that Troy will play in football. We're coming to you live on Facebook this morning. I hope you're doing well. Show is brought to you by Quality Roofing in downtown Goshen, Alabama. One of the Jeff and all those great guys. Nobody does it better than Quality Roofing right here in Troy. 372. And of course, Hook's Barbecue. Now, we talk about barbecue, and Mayor Andalusia and I were together Friday night. Mike, or was it Saturday? Friday night. The mayor of Andalusia, Earl Johnson, and I were sitting together, and we were talking about, I said, how in the world did y'all get a Golden Rule barbecue? And he said, well, yeah. And he said, they're fixing to build another building. Well, I said, well, we got a real good place here in Troy, Hook's Barbecue. Hook's Barbecue got great ribs, and boy, I love their barbecue chicken. I just love their barbecue. Mike, you've eaten Golden Rule barbecue probably any day you want to.
Hooks is better than Golden Rule.
That's what I was saying. He was bragging about Golden Rule. I'll take Hooks any day over Golden Rule, won't you?
Yeah, I go to the original Golden Rule location location, which is right down the road in Irondale, and it's I think it was built in 1897.
Boy, it's been around, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's extremely old. It's packed every day, but I'll tell you what I get there instead of barbecue, they got the hand-cut homemade fries that are really good, but they've got one of the best burgers you'll ever eat at Golden Rule.
Yeah.
And your daughter, Rebecca, who works at EWTN, which is out that way, the Global Catholic Television Network, she likes to order 10 minutes in advance. She's like you. She likes the hamburger steak.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So they've got other stuff there as well.
Yeah.
But
well, you know, and what I'm saying, I'd love to see a Golden Rule come to Troy, and just give us another restaurant.
Well, I'd like to see a Full Moon. I think would be really good in Troy. Full Moon barbecue is really good. Jim and Nick's is really good.
Yeah.
Our favorite Saul's, but there's a place that's moved in from out of Nashville called Martin's over here in Vestavia, Cahaba Heights.
It's smoked barbecue there. Now some people
wonderful ribs.
Yeah, some people don't like it as smoked as some people. Is that right?
Well, this is pull off the hog. This is off the hog.
Pull the pork. Is that right? Pulled pork.
Yeah, they cook the hogs in whole, so you could go in there and watch them cooking.
And you just reach in there and just grab some and you eat it, and then of course if you don't have anything to wipe your mouth with, you just do it like this. This is like eating like Robin Hood. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Now tell us all these famous barbecues in Birmingham. Full Moon claims they're the best.
I told you all of them pretty much.
All right, Full Moon claims they're the best, and now they're in Montgomery.
You got Full Moon, Jim and Nick's. You got Golden Rule. Those are your kind of your big three, and well, I guess Saul's is definitely one of your big 3 or 4 now.
Saul's is really the people that got the white barbecue sauce. Is that right?
Well, Saul's is known for being North Carolina. They have more of a mustard
sweet
sauce.
Yeah, a sweet taste.
North Carolina barbecue, and then you got Dreamland, of course, from Tuscaloosa. You got one Dreamland in Birmingham.
I like Dreamland.
And then you got Martin's, that's really good. And then you got Bob Sykes out of Bessemer, that's really good. You got Jim Dearman's out of Forestell, that's really good.
Boy, you know barbecue, don't you?
Alabama.
You know barbecue, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, right now.
Actually, I'd say I've probably been to almost every restaurant in Alabama.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of barbecue places. How do you rank them?
I mean,
in Birmingham.
I will say that this new place, Martin's, out of Nashville, that's moved down, is basically tied with Saul's right now for me.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about Saul's.
There's the great place in on the way to the old Jasper up 78, the old way.
That's the Green Door, isn't it?
Called Green Top. Now, Green Top barbecue is really good.
But I don't like barbecue cut too thin. Some people cut it. I like my barbecue in chunks. I want to taste the flavor of the meat. The Green Door there, cuts it almost too thin.
Yeah, I mean, I can eat barbecue either way. I mean, I guess I like it chopped. Some people like it sliced. It's totally up to you. That's one thing at Golden Rule. You can get it any way you want to for it's cut. So
Aunt Lou's got a good barbecue place. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, that's good. But, they've franchised out. They're a chain now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of the chains in certain towns aren't as good.
Yeah.
But Hooks, I mean, I would put Hooks right up there with anybody. Yeah. My wife, didn't even eat meat when we first got married. She was a pescatarian. She would
hey, Barry, you made her start eating meat again. Is that right?
Well, I think having that second baby made her start eating meat again. But she loves Hooks ribs. I mean, she thinks they're the best she's ever had.
Yeah. Well, they literally are tender and they fall off the bone. Wayne Boat would love such Hooks because he can the bone would be slick.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You eat all the meat.
I forgot about Moe's. It's pretty popular.
Yeah, Moe's but now Moe's and Saul's.
Moe's was originated out in Colorado by a bunch of Alabama alumni, and what happened was they started a barbecue business out there, and it became hugely successful. And then a lot of those guys came back to Tuscaloosa and opened bars, and that's how Moe's started.
So Moe's is now a chain. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, there's about 4 Moe's locations. They even have Moe's at Gus Shores and the Panama City Beach now.
Yeah. Now the white barbecue sauce. Now you get this. That's what Saul's is famous for, isn't it?
I mean, pretty much everybody's got one now. Everybody's come out with one. Golden Rule's got one. Saul's has got one. Full Moon's got a really good one.
So you're talking about the white sauce, is that right?
Yeah, well, it kind of started at Big Bob Gibson's up in Decatur. They started the white sauce originally out of anybody.
Boy, listen to this guy. He is an authority on barbecue, ladies and gentlemen.
And then Miss Myra's in Birmingham was the first place in Birmingham that ever had white sauce. Miss Myra's is a famous barbecue place in Cahaba Heights as well.
Is it still open?
Yeah, it's still open.
And, boy, Birmingham loves their barbecue, don't they?
Well, I mean, Memphis loves barbecue as well.
Memphis.
I'll say this, though. I've been to the Rendezvous, which a lot of people think is the greatest barbecue place ever.
That's in Nashville.
And
Memphis. Is it Memphis or Nashville?
The original Dreamland and Hooks, to me, ribs are just as good as that.
Yeah.
And people pay big-time money to eat at Rendezvous.
Well, a good friend of mine and yours used to have his barbecue actually mailed, shipped in from Memphis, Mike. To this was every Christmas. He'd have his ribs shipped in. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
And they do that all over the country.
Well, they do. They do that with Dreamland too.
They do.
Yeah, they ship it all over the country.
Well, and of course they can package
it. It comes in just like Omaha Steaks does their steak.
Okay, I got you. Well, we're talking barbecue this morning. We're talking towns.
Of course, Auburn basketball, they had a big win over the weekend. They beat Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. That's the first time they've won there since 2000. And then Alabama basketball has choked tremendously, coming off a 19-point road loss to Mississippi State. They come home in a must-win against Florida. In Florida, all they do is go in and lead throughout and beat Alabama at home by 18 points. So Bama basketball is looking at the NIT right now.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this,
which is not good for a coach they pay $3 million a year to.
Yeah. Of course, Charles Henderson's girls just walloped Briarwood Christian out of Birmingham.
I felt bad for Briarwood Christian. I
mean, people were wondering if they won't even score. Is that right?
Yeah, you're talking about a pretty proud athletic program. These girls, practice and are pretty good normally, but when you play a team like Charles Henderson only scored 12 points, you got to be shaking your head.
Final score to Charles Henderson was 55-12, something like that.
55-12. It was 34-5 at the half.
34-5 at the half. Well, now Charles Henderson's got a big one.
It seems like he could just throw a few up and score more than 5 points.
You're exactly right. But see, the problem is, these teams try to take the ball down low, and they're not going to get the shot away. This girl, ladies and gentlemen, Maury Davenport from Troy, is one of the top 5 players probably in the United States, high school players. And what she does better than anybody I've seen in a long time, man or woman, and to be honest with you, is block shots. She has the great timing. If you're within 10 feet, you're not going to get the ball off. She's going to slap it down your throat. So they got to shoot from 15 feet away, and the percentages are just not there compared to if you could get it inside at 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah, I read an article, and they were interviewing Davenport and Coach Jones, and Coach Jones said that she thinks the state championship will be played on Wednesday against Ramsey. That's how much she respects Ramsey. Ramsey out of Birmingham, of course, they're 5 points south. Ramsey High School is right across the street from the Episcopal Church my wife and I go to, and actually my twin sister goes to, St. Mary's on the Highlands. So Ramsey is really, really good and really, really athletic. So,
how about with Winona? Is Winona still in it?
Winona's out. They got beat.
They got beat. Of course, they
lost their coach to cancer. Coach Bell passed away, and tough for those girls, I'm sure, to respond. But Ramsey, I think, is 27-6, and they're blowing everybody out, just like Charles Henderson is. So that's going to be a huge game up in Montgomery on Wednesday for people to go to.
Well, I tell you this, though, 9 o'clock in the morning.
The only problem is, by the time you got done doing the show, you would be late.
I couldn't make it. I would have to shut the show down early. But 9 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth would somebody make a team play at 9 o'clock in the morning? It's going to force them almost to spend a night on the road, you know.
That's when Charles Henderson played this past weekend, and then the boys compliments to the Charles Henderson coach.
And Mike, let's say that again.
Great game, really had a great game plan. They got beat by the defending state champions only by 4 points.
And and that was Sylacauga. And I'll tell you this, Coach Doug, he might get a Coaches of the Year award because Charles Henderson hadn't won 20 games in a long time, and they won 20 games this year under his direction.
Yeah, I mean, really good season. Made it to the Sweet 16. Of course, I think they have a lot of young guys. I know Coach Grant's son is a sophomore.
Yeah,
and he's a good young player. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can add a few more people next year and maybe make a run at the state.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course,
I mean, I saw Garrett Coliseum. It did look like it had a little bit of a facelift.
Hey, I tell you what, it looked a lot better than what the private schools were playing in. I was not very impressed with this Crampton Bowl facility they've got.
Yeah, I saw where Tuscaloosa Academy got beat by Bessemer Academy for the state championship. Of course, Tuscaloosa Academy is coached by Barry Sanderson, Whip Sanderson's son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he won the state championship last year, his first year, and took him to the championship game this year.
Well, the team that
Pine Level Arts got beat as well.
Of course, they got beat by the state champion, Mike Bessemer. Is that right? Yeah. So
now Coach Ponder can focus on baseball.
You know what? They have a game tomorrow afternoon on the road.
Wow, that's crazy.
But hey, that little change-up pitcher just sits over there and smiles at everybody. Little young sophomore. Hey, Mike, his change-up is outstanding. You know, a change-up.
Wait a minute, is he a sophomore? I thought he was just a freshman.
No, he's a freshman. What did I say, sophomore? Well, I tell you what, he is a good one, and it looks like, of course, they're the 3A state champion. I think they got a chance to win it again.
I wonder how that works in high school ball. How many innings you can pitch each week? I know you're limited. You're on a certain innings count. I wonder how that works.
And I wonder how it works also in girls softball. How many innings you pitch? Because
I haven't high school, I think there's innings, but in college, there's no limit. You can pitch as much as you want to.
Isn't that amazing?
That's why if a program has a dominant starter, dominant ace.
Yeah,
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
Yarber girl, Samantha Yarber for South Alabama's already won her first game.
Yeah, how good is she? She the best pitcher in the state of Alabama, you think?
She's pretty amazing. I mean, she led her team last year to a 7A state championship.
And so now she's playing at the University of South Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay, we're looking.
That's Chad Yarborough's daughter that originally lived in Troy, and I guess moved down there to the Mobile area about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mike, our hats off to the Enterprise Wildcats who pulled off a big upset in the regionals. Now they play Robert E. Lee of Montgomery. They play them tomorrow morning at 10:45. What a job this young coach has done with this Enterprise team.
Yeah, Red Harrelson.
Red Harrelson, and boy, what a great job. Now he's the youngest high school, maybe ever, Mike. The youngest. I don't know. That'd be hard to say. There's been a lot of basketball played over the years, but I know this. He's 25 years old, and he's the head basketball coach at Enterprise High School.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat Robert E. Lee. I know they're really good, really athletic, but good season for Enterprise.
I tell you what, Enterprise can shoot the three, and this Howell kid, who's just a junior, is really, really good. And we'll be watching that closely.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how Howell matches up against Robert E. Lee, because they're definitely going to be able to guard him, probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a sad note, talking about Enterprise, former Enterprise Mayor Jackie Thompson has died in Enterprise, and what a great lady she was, and is going to be missed so much. Of course, Harold Thompson, her husband, and Jim, and Well, it was three. She bore three kids that played major college football, Mike. One played at Kentucky. One played at Tennessee, and two were outstanding players at Auburn.
Yeah, I remember the
Thompson boys, yes, sir. And of course, their mama was a great one.
So we need to mention Gail Copeland's passed away as well.
Yeah, Gail Copeland. I was there yesterday, and man, it was standing room only at that funeral. She's a wonderful lady, and Gail Copeland, and our prayers and thoughts.
Had a big personality. I always enjoyed hearing stories and talking to her over the years.
Oh yeah, I tell you, no question, we lost a good one. Of course, losing Jackie Thompson, Bud Casey, of course, the late Bud Casey, who we had a show with, and former Auburn coach. Jackie Thompson was perhaps his most pride and joy friend, and she was such a great lady, and the City of Enterprise is going to really miss her, no question about it. Of course, we're talking sports today, and talking about doing a little trivia this morning.
They got a list out now on AL.com. We were talking about the all-time passing leaders, and this is a new list they have today. Alabama high school top 10 NFL passers of all time. It's pretty easy to pick number one. He's still playing.
From Alabama. Oh.
No, these are people that played high school football in Alabama. They didn't necessarily play at in-state schools, but this is the top passers all time in the NFL.
Oh.
This guy's got 8 kids.
Oh, pitches. He plays for San Diego, or it's not San Diego anymore, is it?
The L.A. Chargers. Phillip Rivers. Listen to these numbers. From 2004 to 2018, Phillip Rivers has thrown for 50,000 yards.
Is that more than anybody?
No, the most ever is by Favre and Breeze and Manning.
The only player, and I love him. I really like Phillip Rivers, but
the only NFL players that have more passing yards than Rivers are Drew Brees, the record holder at 74,437.
Oh, man.
74,437.
Isn't that amazing?
Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Dan Marino, Ben Roethlisberger, and Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised Eli's thrown for that many.
Eli thrown for how many?
I mean, he's thrown for over 50,000.
Isn't that amazing? All right, give me that list again.
This is the top passing or yardage
NFL history.
Breeze is number 1. Peyton Manning's number 2. Brett Favre's number 3. Tom Brady's number 4. Dan Marino's number 5. Ben Roethlisberger's number 6. Eli Manning's number 7.
Oh, that does surprise me.
But this is the most in Alabama history by high school players. Phillip Rivers, number 2. We mentioned him the other day. Kenny Stabler, of course, he played at Foley.
Yeah.
It's number 2 on the list. Number 3 on the list is Bart Starr. He played at Sidney Lanier. Number 4 played at Davidson. Richard Todd.
Yeah. Did Todd play at Davidson? Okay.
Number 5 played at Hueytown. He's still playing. Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's thrown for 14,000 yards so far.
Yeah. How good has he done in the pros, Mike? Has he done very well?
He's been very, very inconsistent.
Yeah.
I actually lost his job earlier this season with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah. This guy I've never heard of in my life. He's from Leeds, Alabama. His name is Bobby Thamison.
Bobby who?
Maybe it's Thomason.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. You're right.
S-O-N. He's from Leeds High School.
Okay. The green and white. Is that right? The green and white?
Played in the 50s for the Rams, the Packers, and Philadelphia.
I know it. I didn't know who that was either.
This guy was from Montgomery, played at Sidney Lanier, played at Arkansas, then transferred to Alabama State. Had a good career as a backup. His name was Tavarius Jackson.
Yeah.
Then this guy played at Lynette and at Auburn. He was a standout named Dick Wood. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, Richard Wood. Yes, sir. The late Richard Wood. He was 6'6", 6'7", big, tall. And he didn't even start at Auburn, Mike, but he later on played in the pros.
And then this guy played at Viger. We talked about him before, Scott Hunter.
Scott Hunter, boy, he was a good one. Yes, sir.
And then a lot of people consider this guy the biggest flop in NFL history, number 1 draft pick, Adam Williamson.
Yep. And we saw him just kill. We saw him kill Alabama. You remember that?
Yeah. So Jamarcus Russell is basically the 10th greatest passer out of an Alabama high school ever.
Isn't that amazing?
They played in the NFL.
Yeah, no question about it. That's good. That's good information. We're going to take a short break. We got a guest in the house. We'll be right back.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. The user-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks, thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
When you were handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Treasure Forest and Farm City do.
Back to our show, and a legendary figure had joined our show this morning, in my opinion.
Very legendary.
A star of radio and television, Tammy Powell. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Thank you for letting me come in this morning.
Well, oh, shoot, you've got an open door. You know, there's a few people who got open door policies here. Can just walk in, and the other one,
get in.
The other one is, I saw him at the funeral yesterday, but Lawrence about
Yes.
the same way.
Lawrence is one of our Sunday school teachers.
Isn't it amazing, before we get started, how many great people come through, community type people that come through Brundage?
Yes, Brundage, and you know, Pike County is so blessed.
Oh yeah,
So
but you take Brundage, and you know, a lot of towns just sit back and twiddle their fingers. That's an old saying.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we talk about old sayings around here, twiddling your fingers, you know, different things.
Got it.
We were talking. We love to jump on. We mentioned a barbecue house, and we ended up talking about 15 of them
Because there's so many.
You know, they're good. That are good. You know.
Yes.
But we appreciate people that work so hard, and like yesterday at the funeral, I saw Lawrence, and of course, you know, that was a very good send-off for
Gail. She was
Gail.
a wonderful
I know you and
person.
Gail sort of grew up together, didn't
Well, actually, no, we were actually neighbors.
Yeah.
We live next door to Fred and Gail,
Yeah.
and Gail had been facing a lot of
Yeah.
challenges, and I will say this: she will definitely be missed,
Oh,
not
yeah.
just by her family,
Oh,
but
no
by
question.
all of our
Well,
friends.
my wife we were talking, going to the funeral, talking about Gail Copeland, who was such a Gail DuBose. Because my mother was a DuBose from Bullock County, so I claimed kin to her. But so many people. But I just sat back, and I was just looking at these so many people that have made their name known as community leaders and servants, because they care about their community, you know.
Gail had worked with DHR for a long time, 20 some odd years, and she worked in child protective services, and she worked with elder care as well.
And was really good at what she did.
Truly a caring person about the people here in Pike County.
No sweeter man anywhere than Fred.
You got that right.
Oh, Fred, you talk about Fred Copeland. Not a big guy, but hey, he's big in heart.
Yes,
and,
he is. He
is. Wears that old cowboy hat as well as anybody.
And he loves those horses.
And you know, and I told him yesterday, you know, this is, you know, he's going to have a lot of time to enjoy his horses.
That's
you know?
right. That's right. He will.
Well, what's going on today?
Well, we are here today to talk about Treasure Forest.
Okay.
And the fact that Treasure Forest is about to host their 21st annual tree giveaway this Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30, whenever we get rid of all the trees, and we'll be on the square near the gazebo, either at the gazebo or near the gazebo. We don't know what kind of trees we're going to get yet, but I can tell you that what we've had in the past, we've had all kinds of oaks, we've had pines, we've had crepe myrtles, we've had beauty berries, we've had redbuds, we've had crab apples, we've had all kinds of trees. And we probably won't know what we get until we get there, because they don't pull them until the first part of this week, to get those that are ready and that have a root system that will continue to develop.
Yeah. You mentioned crepe myrtles. You know, so many people now are having their crepe myrtles cut back. What's the law there? When do you cut? When can you cut the crepe myrtles?
This is about the time that you would be doing your trimming back.
My son-in-law, I was in Birmingham Wednesday, and my son-in-law, or at least some guys, woke me up cutting his crepe myrtles in Birmingham, and I told my wife, I said, I bet that group right there, that's what they do. They specialize in cutting crepe myrtles. All they got to do is stop, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, you want us to cut your crepe myrtles?" And I don't know if anybody'd say no.
No, probably not. But that's one of the trees that we have had in the past. We may or may not have them this time. We just don't really know.
And let me tell you, some people like farm to grow like trees, and some of them don't. But if you don't cut them back, boy, they will grow anywhere, won't they?
They will.
So where do the trees come from? Is this like a donation?
Well, they have a contract with a particular tree grower company, and they have a variety. So what we get is actually somebody who had they are professional in the business, so we get good trees, good quality trees. And if you take care of them, one of the things that we like to recommend is that once you get them home, you put them in a bucket and keep them in your yard and take care of them until their root system is a little bit more fully developed before you put them in the ground.
Yeah. Are we talking about mainly pine trees?
Well, we have all kinds of hardwoods. Last year, if I remember correctly, I think we had 4 or 5 different oaks.
Yeah.
From sawtooth to, I don't remember that we had water oak, but we had several different kinds of oaks, if I remember correctly. I know one year.
Excuse me, the reason I say that, the last thing I want is a pine tree.
No. But they do, we have had pine trees.
Yeah,
now,
sure.
I don't know if there will be any in this year's or not.
But you know, all of them lead to being able to provide an income for people, because how many people do you know go around towns everywhere in the South sweeping pine straw?
Right.
And then they take the pine straw and they're having it baled up, and they later on make good money selling them. In fact, I was wondering about people that own pine groves. Do they actually, try to leave it real clean so they can do that?
Yes, they do. In many instances, they are not just in it just for the pine trees, but for the pine straw as well.
Mm-hmm. If you give away pine trees, about how many per person?
Well, you'll be given a bundle.
Yeah.
And sometimes your bundle is like this if that's all you want, and sometimes your bundle is like this if you want more.
Sure.
So it will also depend on how many that we actually get and how many people show up to get trees.
Can we ask you this question? How do you plant a pine tree? How deep into the ground does it go?
Well, that's a good question. And it does depend on the actual root system. But usually you dig a big enough hole so that it will and you loosen the soil around it as well, so that the roots will have a place to go. And sometimes our soil in South Alabama is a little compact, so you have to loosen that as well.
But the other thing other than pine trees is oak trees. And how many times do in your garden or in your fire, and these oak trees just grow anywhere.
Many times they do, and sometimes you have to cull them out. But most of the time, the trees that you get from one of these giveaways, you have the opportunity to decide where you want it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the Treasure Forest Association does is to try to make sure that we continue having trees.
Yeah.
We're not making any more land.
You're right.
There's no more land being made, and we do need to make sure that we continue to have trees on these for our future generations.
Tammy Powell, of course, for how many years?
So how did the Treasure Forest start?
It was
What's
actually
the background of that?
It was actually a group of people who decided that the things that we were doing were not sustaining our land, and they wanted to continue to make treasure forests out of farms. And I actually looked up this morning, and the treasure stands for timber, recreation, environment, aesthetic, sustainable, usable resources. And they do this so that we will continue to have sustainable land, to continue to grow trees, to continue to be able to build. Because, you know, trees are eventually going to be cut down and you start over again.
Yeah.
But it does take a long time, and that's one of the things that if you take up, I hate to say it this way, if you take up all your land building houses, you eventually won't have anything to build houses with.
That's right.
So
No question about it.
we do need to continue to do that. And it was a group of people that decided that they needed to promote this and to make it a better place here in Alabama. And it spread out all over the country, actually. And now Treasure Forest is actually a part of the Alabama Farmers Federation.
So it could be more other trees other than pine trees.
Right. It could be.
How about pecans?
I've never seen any pecan trees given, but that doesn't mean.
Well, I tell you what,
They're
that's
not there.
that's a tree that later on you say, "Gosh, I'm glad they planted that tree."
Yeah, Dad's trying to make some money.
Yeah, that's
well,
it. That's it.
Well, but I just like,
Dad tells the story when he was young. He used to go pick up pecans and sell them to go on dates.
oh yeah, to make enough money to go on today. You're
Yeah,
right.
You're right. You're right.
Hey, I was going to college. I didn't have a way to make money.
That's the way to make money.
Hey, I listen. When I was in college, I was on my knees. I looked forward to a rainy, windy day, so it'd be a lot of pecans
On the ground. That's right. That's right.
Now
We are doing this Thursday. It will be on the square from 9:30 to 11:30.
yeah. Tammy Powell, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is a legendary figure in our community as far as being one of the leaners. You familiar with the leaners and the lifters?
That's right.
Well, you're one of the leaners, and thank goodness
Thank you. Thank
we've got so many of them in the Brundage area. But you were with the 4-H program for how many years?
33. I worked in Jackson County my first 7 years, and then I moved down here and finished up my career in Pike County. Still very interested in young people. That's one of the reasons that I continue to be involved, because this is something that we can continue to give back to our young people.
Oh yeah, no question about it. And I know this, you're also very involved with the Cattlemen's Association.
Cattlemen.
You're as much of a doer as anybody I know. And of course, I can't understand. You've never been a part of the theater though.
Well, that because my talents do not necessarily lie.
The reason I say theater, we're talking about the We Piddle Around theater,
Yes, yes.
and isn't that one of the most wonderful
It
things
is.
that's ever happened to any community?
It is a great
It
thing.
has kept people's enthusiasm alive for a long time.
It has. It has. The program that they did this past weekend about Audrey Shepard.
Yeah,
Williams
how did that go?
It was a wonderful program.
I would have loved to have been there, and that
It was a great program.
That was at the We Piddle Around
We
Theater.
Piddle Around Theater, and they're
Will
getting ready,
they-
I think, for the fall production. There's some other things that are, the spring production of Come Home It's Supper Time, but they're doing some other things in between now and then.
On the theater program this past weekend, how many participants did you have in that program?
She was the program.
Oh, the program. Do you think that she
Dolores
might
Hyde.
come back and do it again?
She might. I don't know, but she.
And
It
this
was
we were talking about the wife of Hank Williams Sr. Is that right?
Right.
Hank Jr.'s mama.
Right.
Yeah.
She grew up in Banks.
She grew up in the Enon area, and Dolores Hydock from Birmingham
Yeah.
had done the research. She and Jane Treadwell had talked about it, and it was a wonderful program. It was her life, not just the good part, not just the bad part, but her life, and it was very good.
Of course, her husband died at the age of 27 in the back seat of a Cadillac. Is that right?
Something late 20s, I know that.
Yeah, late
but,
20s.
I do know that it was just, and I don't know how to say this, but Dolores had done so much research on both sides, the good side, the bad side. I don't want to say the bad side, the side that the media promoted about Audrey, and she balanced it out very well.
Yeah.
She did a very good job because I think, now this is just a personal thing.
Sure.
I think Audrey was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
I do believe that she was promoting Hank Sr.
She probably had
and
as
she
much to
probably
do with
had
his
more to do
success.
with that than anybody.
And of course, he might have still just been walking the streets of Montgomery,
Right.
but she got him out there to everybody.
She did, and I do believe that the actual story of her life will never be fully told.
Was that the first time this has ever been done, or
Yes,
has it been?
yes,
No,
it was the
so
first.
it could be
It could
become
be
a
done
big
again.
thing.
It could be.
What does Hank Jr. think about it?
I have.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. You have to get like the blessing from the family to do stuff like
I
that.
do know that she did interview family. The daughter that lives in Tennessee, she interviewed the sister that lives in one of the Carolinas. She talked to nieces. I don't think that she talked to Hank Jr., but I don't know that. But I will tell you this, that it was a very, very good program in the fact that it presented the human side of Audrey Shepherd Williams and the family side of Audrey Shepherd Williams, and it was very good.
And it was
Very
just
good.
one
person, Dolores
yeah.
Hydock, who is a storyteller extraordinaire from
And
the
y'all,
Birmingham
and
area.
y'all had, of course, had a nice
Had
dinner
nice
and
meal.
all that.
It was
but
great.
I tell you, it has really enhanced the lives of a lot of people in the Brundage, Pike County area, and I was excited to hear about all this.
I think it's one of our best things that we offer here in Pike County, and we have lots of great things
Oh,
in
no
Pike
question
County.
about it. No question about it. I was looking, today is the 18th. Remember to Let's Eat for raising money for the Praise Scholarship. This was a great idea.
Yes, it was. Still is.
Diana Lee was one of the ones that started this, and what it is, join us and Let's Eat for the Praise Scholarship. And the Praise Scholarship goes to the top ACT stores.
folks and that are seniors, and it's just a great program. And I think tonight they're eating at Mama Goldberg's.
That's
is
right.
that
Well, it's tonight they're eating at Mama Goldberg's Deli from 5 to 9, and remember, 10% of all the money you spend there will go toward this Praise Scholarship, which is very unique and very, very nice. And again, it's a situation, and you've been a part of so many of them yourself, was you build it and they'll come.
Right.
Or you got to make things happen.
To get things happen, you have to make them happen. That's
You
for
got
sure.
to take a good thought and follow through with it.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can talk about, but if you just sit back and twiddle your thumbs,
That's right.
nothing's going to happen. But
Nothing.
if you see something that needs to be done to raise money for that program, like she did, Diana Lee and her group, it's a wonderful thing.
That's right. That's
And
right.
You've
And-
done a lot of those things.
And I want to give one more credit here on the treasure. Besides the fact that the Treasure Forest actually sponsors this, the Farm City Committee and the Master Gardeners also assist. As I like to say, we're the supporting cast.
Yeah.
So, but this is again Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30. We'll be downtown around the gazebo, and we'll be ready for you, so you can bring your own plastic bags. We'll have some extra
That's
down there
right.
for you.
Tammy Powell is our guest today, and of course, Tammy's been coming on this show for years. She, like I said, she's got an open door policy. Anytime she wants to come be on this show, Mike. The thing about Tammy, you, like you said, you were not born and raised in Pike
No,
County.
no.
And So you came from Jackson County? Or where?
I was in Jackson County, but I was actually born and raised in Houston County.
Houston County.
Yes.
So where'd you go to high school?
Wicksburg.
Wicksburg High
Yes.
School. And thank goodness the Lord sent you our way, because
And that's
after
truly
going
what happened.
after living in Jackson, Alabama, and
Jackson County.
Jackson County, Alabama. Oh, Jackson County.
Mm-hmm.
That's way up north
Yes,
Alabama.
northeast Alabama.
Man, how did we get you?
Well, I was an only child, and my mother had had a heart attack the year before we moved, 2 years before we moved back down here. And I had started looking for a way to transfer to South Alabama to be closer in case I was needed. And Pike County opened up, and I applied. And I don't know whether they wanted me or not, but I was the only person within the system that applied for a transfer. So they actually had to give it to me.
Yeah.
So I was maybe the 4-H agent by default. I
Well,
don't
how many
know.
times you made 4-H fun?
It
you
was
made
fun.
things fun, and 4-H was something everybody had to do.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you in the schools, and you made it fun, and it seemed like when I was growing up, it was always fun to go to different 4-H club functions.
A lot of rallies and things.
Yeah.
I will say that Pike County probably had the best support system with our school systems here.
Yeah.
Public, private, it didn't matter. They supported the 4-H club program, and even more so, they supported the 4-Hers.
Yeah.
And that was how we were so successful.
That's probably how you got involved in the Cattlemen's Cattle
Yes.
Women's Association.
Cattlemen's
You pretty much started that program here in Pike County.
No, I will tell you that the women that came before us with the Cattle Women's Association and the men in the Cattlemen's Association had a lot of vision and a lot of foresight.
Well, every time I used to take my boat and put it in, Michael knows where we're coming from, and put it into the bay down at the beach. I would always say he would have won the 4-H tractor driving contest. Back in a trailer.
Right.
Back in a trailer, that was a big deal. And we're talking about inches.
Inches
And there were people that could back one up within inches.
and they could do it well.
And you didn't get with one try too.
Our young people in our county have been very blessed in the fact that they are very talented. They have a lot of folks that love them and that take good care of them. So, and again, the 4-H club program, FFA program, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all of the activities that we have here in Pike County go to help young people.
Yeah. Your
be better
speaking program
and
was always huge,
Oh,
and
yes.
it led to a lot of things. I mean, we're talking about kids that went on and did a lot of great things.
Right,
some of them
right.
became Miss America, and
Some of them did.
because they learned how to speak.
They did.
Hey, you speak, moving that head around, not looking at. Everybody said, look at that thing in the back of the room.
Yeah, but
they said pick out something in the back of the room. But really,
and
the proper way to do it is to look at folks.
Yes,
know.
it is. It
And how
is.
many great speakers do you think?
Oh, my heavens.
Do you think they're looking at you?
Well, a lot of them you think they are, but they may be looking around you, which
Exactly.
is fine.
I know, but a good speaker would make
eye
God,
contact.
is he looking at me?
Me? He is.
Is he talking to me?
One of the first things I did in 4-H was the public speaking contest. And that was in 1964, which was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I still remember the first sentence in my speech because my mother had me say it thousands of times a day so I could do a good speech.
Yeah.
10 years from now, we will have seen a rapid change in agriculture.
Yeah, that's other.
I may not remember the rest of it, but I remember the very first.
The most popular, probably of all speeches known to man, was 4 and 7 years ago. My forefathers. That's
true.
probably the most famous
Probably.
speech of all
Probably
time
so.
by Abraham Lincoln, wasn't it?
Yes. He would have been a good 4-H public
Yeah.
speaker, wouldn't he?
But you know what? He would have had the face for radio, not for TV.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That is true.
Oh gosh! Well, let me tell you this: this program that you got, and I'm very familiar with it. Now, are there many people out there that plant trees for people?
Not very many. It's kind of
Like you
the,
said, I'd love to have raise some pine trees, but I don't know how to do it.
You'll end up having to, if you want to have pine trees on your property, you'll need to find someone who can, if you do them multiple, like thousands,
Yeah.
then it's awfully hard for one person to do. You really do need to have a crew to do that.
Exactly. Of course, you know, you came when you came from Jackson County. You really came from timber country.
Yes, I did.
But and of course, you know, Pine County is a pretty good timber place too.
Yes, it is.
Of course, we appreciate you coming in. Tell us what again about
it is
time.
Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30 or 11:30 on the square in downtown Troy, and we'll have lots of different trees, and you can come and look to see.
Well, let me tell you,
want.
my wife's favorite tree is these water oaks. You know, that expand. You know,
Right.
my wife loves those trees, and they grow fast, and they grow neatly. You know,
And they're pretty.
yeah. And of
You
course,
talking about the live oaks?
live oaks,
Live
yeah.
oaks.
And of course, the live oaks. You ride through the campus of Troy University, and they got beautiful live oaks.
Beautiful. And they, we have been so blessed by our Father in heaven with giving us beautiful
That's
scenery,
right.
haven't we?
How about the pear tree that's so famous, so popular?
Bartlett pear.
Yeah.
I don't remember that we've had any of those the last few years.
Now they're beautiful trees, and their coloring is outstanding. Right now they're going through the little white.
Right.
You can almost tell what time of year it is by those trees. The only bad thing about them is they're easy to break off
Yes, they are.
in the
They
wind,
are.
and
And they do.
if you see one make it all the way to its total maturity or whatever,
Yep.
it's
And
great.
then eventually, most Bartlett pears have to be cut down and start over again.
But they are beautiful, and of course, the leaves to me is what makes it different.
beautiful, beautiful.
The South with the colors, and you know, there's not a. You look at somebody told me the other day. I think one of the prettiest streets maybe in America is right here in Troy, over in Hillcrest. Golly, I can't. Mike, you got to help me here. He's already left us here. But
Murphy?
no, it's not Murphy. It's right off Murphy. It goes around the circle
Oh,
there.
yes, Flavia.
Flavia.
Has
Flavia
beautiful
Circle is one of the prettiest
beautiful,
places because it's pretty during the fall with all the leaves. In the spring, in the winter, you know, it's beautiful. You can see the what is it dropping from the trees?
Acorns?
No, not acorns, but moss.
Moss, yes.
You
yes,
see the
yes,
moss
yes.
in the trees
Yes,
and
yes.
all that, and then it comes the spring and the dogwoods and the
Dogwoods,
azaleas are
it's
beautiful,
beautiful.
and in the summer, and what I'm saying, year round, it's just a beautiful
It
street.
is a beautiful street.
And
it is.
and of course, each one of those times of the year, these trees are prevalent on
Right, right. And we are just blessed here in South Alabama.
Yeah.
We are a good place to have good wildlife, good forestation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lovely place to be in South Alabama. Not saying that other parts are not.
I know,
I loved
exactly.
North Alabama. I really did. We had 4 real seasons in
Yeah.
Scottsboro, so
Yeah. You know, and of course, you know, in Florida, you've got the oak trees, the beautiful
Right.
oak trees that make it beautiful, but you know, there's no real season
No,
down there.
no.
You know,
It's hotter, hotter.
You know, talk about on the beach, you know, and everything, but the Lord has made this a beautiful place.
He has. He has.
No question about it.
I read one time, and I don't remember what I read it in, so don't ask me to go back and look for my research, that Alabama is the only state in the United States that if we actually fenced off the
Yeah.
whole of the state, that we could provide everything for ourselves that we would need.
Isn't that amazing? I want you to hang with us because I want to talk a little bit about the Cattle Women's
Okay,
Association
I can do that.
you are very familiar with. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in LA on Facebook across the world.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Billy Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks over here.
I do, and they're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
Getting my car detailed.
At Trojan Detail, we do it all.
Yeah. Back to our show, Tammy Powell has joined us, and we're talking about how important it is for us to continue to plant trees.
That's correct.
And of course, a lot of people have open range, for cattle. And
Right,
of course,
right.
you come from a cattle background. And in fact, one of the leaders of the Pike County Cattle Women's Association.
Right, and I want people to understand too, the cattlemen and cattlewomen, you don't have to own one cow to be a part of these organizations. And we are in county promotion. That's what we do. We promote Pike County, we promote agriculture, we promote, of course, the cattle industry. And the cattle women are kind of an auxiliary of the Cattlemen's Association, please. And
Thank you.
Thank you. But we really, we do an awful lot to assist with youth activities. And I'll mention while I'm here that the 77th annual Pike County Steer and Heifer Show is March the 2nd, 77 years. And some of our, thank you, our original calf showers are still with us. Robert Drinkard and Bill Hickson showed in the very first show on the square in Troy.
And we're talking about another great sport, raising cattle.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people that say, oh, I want to play baseball, but there's a lot of interest statewide in
the cattle industry. The cattle industry has its ups and downs, but the cattle industry is great. And one of the things that I find that I continue to be involved in the youth aspect of it is because it teaches young people so much. Responsibility, dependability, stick-to-itiveness, if there is such a word, diligence. There's so many things that being involved in the calf show business. We also have a little goat show that we'll be having prior to that with about 30 kids, 30 children and 30 kids. Prior to the actual steer show, but this year we're going to start at noon. We'll have a hamburger lunch for all the folks that are there.
And what's the date on this?
March 2nd.
Okay.
And we'll be at the Cattlemen's Association building. There are other things going on that day, but you can come and eat lunch with us, and then you can watch the show. We'll be through by dark.
Whoever, and I say this all the time, and of course, there's somebody behind everything, and of course, one of them works for the messenger over here. Janie, you make so many things happen, but you're the same type person that has made so many things happen in our community. And whoever came up with the idea, let's build a cattleman's building. Was the smartest move ever. Just think how much useful the use that program is, that facility.
When it was being built, one of the things that I remember the committee saying repeatedly was this building will be limited by our own imagination.
Yeah.
And it has been used for so many different things.
A perfect size.
Yes.
I don't know if you could either build it too big, maybe the one in Andalusia might be too big. I look at it, of course it's big.
Yes.
But this is a perfect size to be able to be used, and then with the attached arena,
covered arena.
Covered arena. It's just fabulous,
It is,
and I know you were right on top of all of that.
Well, I was involved a little bit when we first got in.
But hasn't that been a wonderful thing?
It has been, and the thought that went into it, visiting all the different other places, from Perry, Georgia to Andalusia to...
The Andalusia is totally enclosed,
yes.
but it loses its environment a little bit when it's all indoors.
There's just
this
so
breeze
many,
coming through really makes it a difference.
It does. And a lot of folks would like for it to be enclosed, but we'd lose a lot of things.
Well, see, you've got a huge facility that is enclosed.
Yes.
We had the Mardi Gras deal out there the other day. Was just outstanding. They've got a big stage.
Yes, they do.
It's been used by so many things, but I think of all you cattle people, even Jerry Vincent.
Yes, Jerry was one of the ringleaders.
It's enhanced Jerry's life, you
yes,
know. And of course, Jerry, so many people have been so involved, but thank goodness we got it.
Yes.
No question.
I will say this, that I think one of the best things about being here in Pike County is that even though people may not always agree, people are able to work together and get things done for the good of our county.
And y'all have had great fellowship. In fact, you've got the hamburger cooker of all time,
James
Mr.
O. Johnson.
Isn't that amazing that he is known throughout the country as the cook?
He is. He's got a great kitchen staff. They work hard.
But how many? I bet you couldn't count the events that you've been there that he served.
That he has
food.
served. He has cooked. He has. He's great.
But again, all these things that you do, it's all about being involved. If you sit back on your hands, you're not going to get anything done, and you're not going to have any fun.
No, that's right. A lot of people have asked me, why are you continuing to do all this? You've retired, and I do enjoy retirement. But I can tell you that one of the things that I think we're put here to do is to give back.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we don't give back, we miss out on a lot.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, my friend, and I've known you a long time. You're a legend. You are a legend and will be...
In my own mind.
Your legacy will live on and on and on because of the things you have done.
Well, thank you.
We lost Jerry Spann. And how many events have you been to where Jerry Spann led the singing, especially in schools,
Yes.
over the years, and we're going to miss Jerry Spann so much. But they... Like that old scripture says, you have done well.
Yes, my good and faithful servant.
My good and faithful servant, and he was a wonderful man. But so many, that are not with us anymore, that we're going to miss, but they're going to be in our heart, and they're going to be in our minds for the rest of our lives.
And we will continue. One of the people that had been instrumental in our tree giveaway was Randy Hale.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And Randy,
we need to mention Randy.
Randy was the chairman of our Farm City Committee for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Already getting ready, gearing up for next year's Farm City program.
Thought he was in perfect
health. He was doing well, and we just don't ever know. But I can say this, that the legacy that we leave will live on after us.
Sure. No question.
And it can be a good legacy, or it cannot be. So,
but I'll tell you, you're exactly right. And I mentioned that little saying: they're leaners and they're lifters. Dr. I don't know if you ever heard Dr. H.T. McKinnon speak.
No, I have not.
That's what he spoke about was the leaners. I'd like to get a copy of that from somebody. The leaners and lifters, and the lifters are the ones that are making things happen. There's not near as many lifters as there are leaners.
That's right. And we do our best to, we should do our best in our life to continue to lift others.
Exactly.
And to lift things.
And of course, sometimes I would like to just sit down and write something about these great people in Pike County that have made things happen. Every time I go into Jimmy Norman's store out here on the bypass, I think of his daddy. His daddy was my little league coach, but his daddy made things happen, you know, in the community, and that's the difference. Is somebody that is sitting there watching and enjoying, and then those that are actually making it happen. And there's not that many of them making it happen. You look at your Wee Pedal Around Theater.
Yep.
I mean, that has enhanced the lives of so many people.
And it brought so many people to visit Pike County.
The lady, Miss Mobley, the 4th of July.
Yes.
Boy,
She's another
nobody
one
did it like them anywhere.
Nope.
And how smart they were. The smartest thing they were at this 4th of July parade, I don't know if anybody in the country is doing this, they're bringing in all the little beauties and putting them in a convertible, and those little beauties, it might be 50 to 100 of them. Their mamas, their daddies, their cousins, their grands.
And they all come
Everybody
to
comes, and that is one of the top 4th of July events in the country every year.
It is,
But it was such a good idea, and it was a great. These little children are so cute, and they're little queens. You know, each town got 4 or 5 of them. And you need to promote them and give them a way to to go out and enjoy.
And they do.
That's what they enjoy doing.
And they do that. And the city of Brundage does a great job in bringing them in and recognizing.
Who'd have thought that old guy that ran that tire place down there would become such an active member of his community?
Isn't that the truth? I tell you, Mr. Steed is a
but you can just go on, and of course the great, so many outstanding individuals that have been so involved in things. And of course Jimmy Ramage, people forget what a great leader he was, and a lot of things that he did and John's doing today behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see.
And that's what it really takes, is a lot of the behind the scenes people that don't care who get the credit, as long as something good comes out of it.
The Sanders Company right here in Troy, people would not believe what they give back to our community that you'll never even see or never even know about, and he doesn't even want it to be known about. But
not at all.
Think of the things. I'm sure you have gone to him and his people.
They've been very good to us.
And they're giving back to the community.
Right.
And of course, that's where I hope we all are. I hope this show gives back to the community as far as information about things that are going on like this. And there's a bunch of folks down there in Goshen that own the Barn restaurant, and what a great restaurant it is.
Yes.
But they are quite involved in the treasure forest.
They are. Right? They are. They very much are.
She's a lovely lady.
Beverly and Johnny have have a treasure forest, and they had to do an awful lot of work to get that distinction.
Exactly right.
But they've done a great job.
Every time we look around, and Troy and Pike County, I think, are unique. I really do. I don't know if there's a more active community doing certain things, but that have enhanced the lives of so many people.
I laugh when you say that, because just a few weeks ago somebody was saying there's just nothing to do in Pike County. There's nothing. And I just said, where are you? Where are you? There's so much going on every day.
Exactly.
If there's not, well, how do you find out about it? I said, get involved.
The other day, the Troy Arts Council had this great singer, wonderful singer, and I'm sitting there watching TV. I said, gosh, just like that. And my wife said, what is it? What is it? I forgot to go to hear that singer. But like you said, there's so many things going on in Troy. Like this weekend, we're bringing back the John A. Archer group, and for the 15th consecutive year. Those people look forward to coming back to our community and enjoy being here and being around it.
Yes.
And the growth of Troy University and our chancellor and the beauty of this university. We're doing things that make us proud, you know?
Yes. And there's just so many things going on all the time here in Pike County.
Right.
And it just amazes me when people say, there's nothing to do.
I know, and I hear that. And the other day at the baseball game, these people from Michigan been here for 4 days. And he said, I was supposed to be at the baseball game on Friday night and to see my son play, but we got so carried away with eating down there at Sisters, he said we just made sure we ate real plenty. I got here in the middle of the fifth inning. So what he did, he got so involved in eating, he forgot about
going to the ball game.
And his grandson was playing.
Well, that's just one of those things.
And of course, it's great to be able to have people like you, and you've been coming on this show over the years, and
we appreciate it very
so
much.
much respect for you
Thank you, Mike.
and what you do. And you know, you and Janie could have your picture made right next to each other.
Well, if Jane would let her picture be made.
I know it. Janie, she doesn't want any credit and everything. And you know, isn't it great to know that you've got someone out there that is doing all these things and doesn't care who gets the credit?
Isn't that the truth?
That is probably the best word you could say about
That's
somebody.
right.
You're the same way. You want to see it done, but you don't care whether or not you get the credit.
Not at all. Not at all. We just want things to be better for the people here in Pike County.
You know, and Chrissy Pinkard, you know,
right.
she gets involved with the College Senior Center, and look what happens, you know.
Things
she
grow.
is a doer if there ever was.
Isn't that the truth?
You know, how many people do we know that if you let him, you know, I'll tell you a guy right now that people don't think about that much until you start looking at things he's been involved with. This Keith Rowland.
Oh, yes.
You put Keith Rowland in charge of something, it's going to be good and it's going to be done,
yes.
you know. And we've got so many people in Pike County like that said, all right, give it to Lawrence Bowden, or give it to, you know, there's so many people out there that make things happen.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
And of course, has enhanced your life. You know, another thing too. You know, Lawrence Bowden, you know, my good friend, he's 90-some years old. Well, ever since they started doing this We Fiddle Around Theater, that's what he's got on his mind in the fall and in the spring.
That's right.
He's excited about it, and it's so many people that it brings in, you know.
And their tickets are already on sale for the spring performance.
All right, now, if you want trees, and this be a great thing for your children, especially, you could take a grandchildren or a child and walk them out to the garden and say, let's plant this tree.
Yep.
And they watch that tree grow.
And they can. This Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30 on the square, you can come and get your trees. They'll be bare rooted. You can take them home. And
what do you mean by bare rooted?
It means that they will not already be in pots, and you can put it in your own soil.
Yeah. And I'm sure that'll be a lot of people, and of course, you know, you might be able to find some beautiful
all kinds
leaf trees,
right.
you know.
Yep.
That would be something to say, well, I'll remember when we planted this.
That's right.
And in fact, yesterday, my wife and I were riding up the hill. We saw one of those oak trees in my yard that we planted about 3 or 4 years ago, and it is getting big. And she, you know what she said? She said, I love that tree.
Oh, that's good.
And for her to say that more than anything
means a lot, doesn't it?
Because she's the one that wanted it planted, and I said, we've got plenty of trees.
You never have enough trees, right?
Well, we've got these oak trees on the side that what we want to do is for them to make a
canopy
a canopy, you know, where you can drive through.
Right.
Do you remember? And of course, you were raised up in North Alabama. What
I was raised in South Alabama. Just lived in North Alabama.
Yeah, okay. But I can remember when Murphy Street was and even North 39th Street had these big trees, and you would like riding underneath the tunnel. You know,
driving through Pike County as a child, going from Wicksburg to Montgomery.
Yeah,
we would come through.
That's right, because the bypass
was not there. Not there.
And Papa Shorty, the Gulf station on the corner there. Was the corner of 231 and 29.
That's right. That's right.
And people don't realize that 29, where you go right by through downtown Troy, will take you to New York.
It will. It'll.
Highway 29.
It will.
It is amazing, you know, how we look at things and so forth, and it all goes around to being proud of who you are,
and where you're from. That's
exactly.
True.
Don't you agree with that?
Hey, you've got that right.
And then, of course, when I shake your hand, a firm shake, and you look at them straight in the eyes. Did y'all teach that in 4-H?
We did.
Good.
We did, actually, and
you know
I appreciate
what I'm talking about, that,
yes,
don't you?
You do.
You already know about the character of that person.
That's
right. Way, don't you?
If you kind of fish-handed, or you can be firm and be proud.
Straight in the eyes. You're a lovely lady.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, again, anything you touch, you're going to do well.
Well,
and
we're
sure
we're going to do it.
Tammy
anyway.
Powell is an All-American. Will be. It goes down in my list of All-Americans in Pike County, Alabama. I'm gonna come out and publish that list before long. You never can tell, you might be on it. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in LA. Thank you.